Well, here is where we are at. I can't remember where I left off with the last video or how I left off with you guys, but we're starting this video here with some painting of wheel weights. We primed these here last night and we're going to paint them yellow here today. You'll see that there are 4 of them already yellow. These are going to go on the inside of the wheel, and that yellow part is going to go up against the cast hub on the tractor. They're 1,400 and some pounds. They are a mongrel to flip over back and forth, so I said, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to prime that side. They probably didn't need primer anyway, but I figured we would prime them, get the paint on there, make them look like something, so on and so forth. Being that these are on the inside, you're not going to see this side anyway. And I cheated, didn't put the primer on there. We'll flip those back over, paint all this stuff yellow. These 4 items here, 4 other items, I don't know if I talked about it or not, but they go to the 9560. This is the right-hand cab corner, lower cab corner, left-hand cab corner, and the rear fenders. A couple of videos ago, we took these off because they were pitted. And at some point in time, I think it happened before we bought the tractor, the warning light arm that's on the bottom of the cab, if they come down at all, they'll dig into the fender. And on the, I think it was the right fender, that had a pretty good gouge in it. These fenders are plastic. Jared, or maybe they're fiberglass, I think they're plastic. Jared put Bondo on them to kind of fill in the pits and the hole. Well, there wasn't holes, it was just pits in them, almost like hot tar got up on them and somebody scraped the hot tar off. So we've got them fixed up, just making them look presentable here. And we'll walk over into this other building and kind of describe what we're doing here, and then we could kind of show you as we go along as to what else we're working on. This tractor is still a project. Kaz came, put a new CCU in it. Somebody asked in a prior video, if you put the new CCU in, how will you not end up scrambling that one? Well, we had no idea that we were going to run into the trouble we had. We probably should have had Kaz plug in the computer, their laptop computer, to it to see if there was going to be a problem. We had no idea that the controllers from the 8410 would screw up with the 8110. When they put the CCU in it, they started with the other controllers offline. Calibrated, I think this is the way they did it. Makes sense anyways. They put the inputs or the uploads or the load, whatever, into the CCU to tell the CCU that it's going to be controlling an 8110. And then, I think it worked this way. When 8110, when the other controllers came into it, everything all lined up. Either that or they put addresses in for the other. I don't know how they did it exactly, but something along them lines anyways. So Jared pulled the roof off of this cab to paint the roof. That's sitting there. And on top of the cab, under the roof, it was just packed right full of dirt. You might say, how'd the dirt get in there? Well, it came in as fine dust throughout the years, and then it, of course, settled out, and it, yeah, turned into dirt. He has LED lights. He's got the warning lights in there now. He'll get the cab roof back on, then he'll start somewhat reassembling the cab. He's got the fenders painted. They painted the cab posts underneath the cab. They took this right window out to get some of the other panels off. That's why that's not on there. And then this will slowly go back together. This manure trailer, I've got new fenders for it. and they're going to be getting put on today. This one cracked quite a while ago. We welded a stiffener on the back. Actually a manure tanker. They backed the spreader into it at one point in time, and it bent it, and then it kind of knocked it out of whack, and it was flopping going down the road one day, so we stiffened it. This one on this right hand side needs to be stiffened as well. It is, well, it's going to get replaced, but rather than stiffen it, we said I'll just put the new fenders on. But the other fender did this same thing, came out of the saddle up top here, and then as you're going down the road, it's doing this. Plus it's got a lot of dirt on it from underneath, and it just makes it heavy. So that's what you'll kind of see going on here. I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but you know what? I like to talk. So, all right, we'll get after it here. Well, this is where the boys are currently at. Sarge has the fenders removed from this, and they are actually in worse condition than what they originally looked like when they were on the trailer. So what they would like to do now is get this trailer washed and put POR on the underneath side here before the new fenders go back on. They're going to do that here momentarily, but they've got this other fenders, yeah, rough shape. So the fenders are going to go back on, and I can't remember if they're galvanized or if they're aluminum.
They look like they're aluminum.
Do they? Okay. I bought them so long ago, I forgot what the heck they were.
Yeah, they look like aluminum two-piece ones. So
yeah.
Hold them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, this also needs a tank there on the other side. Right?
Alright, so you see what that manure trailer looks like. We have the yellows all done. We're going to move them here out of the way and let Jared get green on those fenders. Alright, well, while we were painting, Nate was washing the 7200. I know a good majority of it didn't believe me that we were going to wash it after we got the repairs done to it, but we ended up putting a new wire harness on the engine here the other day, and it got a fresh set of exhaust manifold gaskets and studs. Now that is going on the mixer. They're going to pull this manure trailer up and get that washed off. That's actually going to get washed halfway through the job that they're doing on it, putting fenders on it. While Jared's doing a little painting, we're going to run out to Han. I've got this gas drive welder that was on the Army truck, and the excavation guys were using it to run the jackhammer here the other day, and it lost, well, the amperage went down to hardly anything, and there's something wrong with the generator side of the welder here.
We don't have any of these filters. They're from like 2016.
Okay, Napa's got them.
Well, I didn't know if
Yeah.
you could.
All right. So we'll run out to where this manure pipe got fixed here the other day, yesterday, and they've got that all covered up, and I think Jared's pumping manure through it here right now. So we'll just take a little ride out here. So they've got this all covered. They've rolled it a couple times, but we'll of course have to keep adding material back to it, being that that hole was 16 or 17 feet deep. It's definitely going to get punky, or stay punky, throughout the winter here, so we'll just have to deal with it as time goes on, let that pack itself in, and it will be what it is. So we'll run out to Han, and hopefully Jared's got that stuff painted when we get back, and we can get something else into the shop here. Another question I get asked, where is the red and white, or the black and white mixer? Well, it's right there. We haven't figured out if we want to sell it or keep it. And this trailer here is getting traded in. They washed that the other day. We've just got to swap them out at some point in time here. What I'd like to do is I would like to get that truck 9, get the box off of it, and get the new box on there. That box we built last year and have not had a chance to get that fitted up onto truck 9. So that is where we're at right at the moment. Alright, we are back from Han Welding. Sarge has got this trailer all washed up. They're going to wire wheel this area that falls in underneath the fenders. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a fresh coat of POR on there. That's paint over rust material. We have used that here in the past and it works really well. This trailer here is in a little better shape than the green one. This is a 2016 model. The green one's a 2012. The fenders failed on that as well. I think it was last year when Jared went through and did basically the same job to that one, but that one's got metal fenders on it. The fenders that went back on there are metal. That's what we had put on it. So they'll get this done up and then get the material on there and get the fenders back on it as well. Looks pretty nice and clean here, Bob.
Yeah, a little shitty on its drive, but...
Yeah, well, looks better than it did 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
So, alright. Alright, so this is where we are going to end off with this video. The next project that I'm getting into, I want to make a separate video of that. We'll show you what we're going to do here in a second after I get done jaw jacking. But Jared's got the green pieces done to the 9560. Obviously we have our wheel weights all painted. We've got truck 9 in here, and that's the project that we are gonna go into next. Sarge has been needle scaling on this trailer. It's actually the next day here now, but last night he got the right side done. He's starting to go down through this left side, and then once he gets down through that left side, they'll go through with the wire wheel, then wash this off with the prepping solution for that POR, and then we'll get the POR on there, throw some paint on it, and then they can get the fenders on there. So what we're going to be going into for the next video is working on truck 9, and the reason why I wanted to do a separate video on that is I ended up buying an Oxy Lance torch. I've wanted one of these for quite some time. If you recall, when I cut that pin out of that 3-point hitch arm, or that 2-point hitch pull arm on that 8360, I had to get creative with a regular Oxy acetylene torch. Actually, I used a propane acetylene torch. And that style torch, you have to be able to cut all the way through something and get the flame to go all the way through, and then just keep cutting, or else the heat comes back onto the torch tip and it screws it all up and your cutting goes out the window. This guy here, it's got like what looks like a long welding rod, and it'll pierce right through any kind of metal material and it'll go from one end to the other. So a pin, for example, it'll go right through the center, and the idea is the pin will constrict, and then you can pull the pin out. And what we're going to be using it on is the tail hinges on this truck here. This was built the same way as truck 18 was. You could just barely see the pin right there. And what's it got? A 1/2-inch bolt through the other end. There's really no way to cut that out of there, and it will not move. It is seized up, or my guessing is going to be that it's seized up right in this part of the frame itself. And I don't want to injure that tail hinge at all, because I want to work off of it to get that box installed that we have built for it. So that's what we're going to be getting into for the next video. I got a hold of this company. Actually, I called around to, well, you're going to hear me talk about it in the next video, I guess. I called around to area welding shops here. Nobody had one in stock. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They said, well, we can get you one in a week or 10 days. And I said, well, I kind of want to do this project right now. I don't want to wait. If I end up hogging into this job and then I buy this thing and it doesn't come in till afterwards, I'm going to be a while before I need it again. But I would have liked to have had one when I took the box off of 18. Those pins that we took out of the 8360, and there's just multiple instances where this tool is going to come in handy. I actually got a hold of the company. They actually don't sell to end users, but the guy was real cool there. He gave me some contact information to be able to get one of these located, and there was one at a welding place down in the Bronx, and they sent it to me the next day. So that's what we're going to break into on the next video. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.